Hey, Warrior fans, Scott again for another edition of Dubs Playoff Watch. Thank you, Dub Nation and Warrior fans, all five of you, for showing up and showing an interest in this. I hope it is fun and even brings some information. I didn't post anything yesterday because of the constant fluctuation. I wanted to see where the Warriors ended up after their game against OKC and be able to bring updated information. Plus, I also wanted to take a look at other interesting things happening in the West. You know, we've kind of been following them, but there's even going to be a new team introduced today. And then also a little bit of what's happening in the East. There's all kinds of exciting stuff happening. So let's take a look at last night's game real quick. The Warriors were able to beat OKC as we expected, hoped, and anticipated. So they beat them 118-97. And let's just take a look at the team stats real quick to see what they did well and what they continue to need to improve on. So field goal percentage, they shot well. Overall, 49% to OKC's 41%. Three-point percentage, 40.5% to OKC's 23%. So huge advantage there. And rebounds, the Warriors won rebounding this time against OKC. Overall by 10, 49-39. Offensive rebounds, they were pretty equal, so they did well there. Now, this is where the Warriors excel, typically, especially when they win and when they do extremely well, because of the execution of the transition offense and really the half-court offense that they run, that Steve Kerr's team runs, and needing other defenses to chase Steph all over the floor and Draymond facilitating the majority of the time. This is when they really, really shine. So assists, 36 assists to OKC's 21. Now, of course, the Warriors shoot well. Their assists go up. You know, it's like magic. Those things go hand in hand. I don't get it. Let's see. Steals. This Warriors didn't do so well in. OKC got 9 steals. Warriors only had 4. And turnovers. Warriors lost this category as well. They had 13 turnovers, which isn't extremely high, but it's not good, and especially when OKC only had 9. But yet, Warriors executed well in terms of assist, passes, cuts, picks, and hitting shots. I mean, come on, it's all about buckets. Let's take a look at the Warriors' individual stats real quick. Draymond, another amazing game. 9-9, 5 points, but he's doing everything else well, and he is really facilitating. So he's not there. He knows he is not there to score, and he is looking to set everybody else up, you know, in particular Steph and the other shooters, and make sure the best shot is being taken. When they leave him open, he's going to take that shot. You know, when the shot clock runs down, and he has been doing well in his shot selection as required. Andrew Wiggins, Mr. Consistency, 18 points, 7 boards last night, and kicked in 4 assists. Mr. Looney, 10 boards, continues to excel at doing everything that a role player like him is supposed to do. One of the best defenders on the team, boxes out, plays his role so well. Can't say enough about Mr. Looney. Steph Curry, of course, 34 points, 7 assists. Did a lot of facilitating himself yesterday, as he does on a regular basis, but it stood out for sure, and kicked in 4 boards. Mr. Bazemore, 6 boards and 13 points. Huge help when Mr. Bazemore is shooting well. And JTA, look at this box score: 9, 8, and 7. just doing it every night when his opportunity has come, and he has taken advantage. Jordan Poole, 14 points, and Mulder, another 20-plus point game, 25 points last night. That's huge. So that takes us over to the NBA standings. By the way, I'm not going to post any highlights today. I'm just going to talk through, or any of the pictures of the standings or anything like that. Let's just talk through them, and I'll try to make this brief today. But I am going to talk about the East a little bit as well. So, the standings. The Warriors are, at this point, they have a half-game lead in the 8th spot. Very interesting. Lakers and Blazers tied for the 6th and the 7th spot as well. But both obviously trying to get out of that play-in game, play-in tournament, if you will, mini tournament, and make it in to the 6th spot. And the Mavericks, both of them trailed the Mavericks in that 5th spot by just a game. So getting very, very interesting. And having said that, the Grizzlies, as I mentioned, half a game behind the Warriors. Right now the Grizzlies are in that 9th spot. But the Grizzlies are a game and a half ahead of the Spurs, who have been playing extremely tough. They had one blowout in their last 5 losses, but all the other ones have been extremely close, and they played really tough teams. But as I just mentioned, the Spurs have lost 5 in a row. So of those teams, the Spurs are 4-6 of the last 10, of course. Grizzlies are 4-6. The Trailblazers are 5-5. The Warriors are 6-4. The Warriors are 6-4, so they're the hottest of those teams currently right now. Now, the team playing the worst right now of the teams that I just mentioned are the Lakers. They're 3-7 over their last 10. 3-7 and struggling. Anthony Davis, as some of you may know, all 5 of you out there, he went out early with a back strain. He has been intermittently available, to say the least, for the Lakers squad. And as you know, LeBron was back out a few games ago, and he still continues to be out. And as I understand it, he may be back, or they anticipate he'll be back for the first round of the playoffs. But I mean, maybe he'll be back before the end of the season, because they may need him to be if he can play. Now, they could end up in a play-in tournament the way they are struggling right now. But this is the new team that I am mentioning today. Actually, I mentioned them a couple weeks ago. But they start, and actually it was maybe 2.5 weeks ago, but they started to play better over recent games, and more specifically over the last 10, they are 7-3. And that team, they are the Kings, the Sacramento Kings. They are in, yes, the 12th spot, but they have won their last 7 of 3, as I mentioned. They trail the Pelicans now by 1 game. The Pelicans, as we know, trail the Spurs by a game and a half. Now, as I recall, looking ahead today, the Kings play the Spurs. So the Kings can gain a whole game on the Spurs. That's incredible from where they were just 3 weeks ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago. So they can pull within, looks like it would be a game and a half of the Spurs and a half game of the Pelicans. Am I looking at that right? Yeah, a game and a half of the Spurs. Like, this is unbelievable. And again, so the Spurs and the Kings are going to be going at it tonight. And obviously, so the Kings have won 4 in a row. The Spurs have lost their last 5. And I don't anticipate the Spurs are going to, obviously, they're not going to roll over. And neither are the Kings. And they have marvelous Marvin Bagley back, who had, I believe, a 31-point game just the other night. He was either the last game or the game before. So that is extremely exciting if you're a Kings fan. It's exciting for the league. It's interesting to see what is going to happen here. Let's take a look at the games tonight. Who else did I talk about that was tied? Oh, it was the Blazers and the Lakers, wasn't it? And look who plays tonight. Holy cow. The Lakers play the Blazers at 7 p.m. Pacific time tonight. Are you going to watch that game? I'm going to watch that game. At least I'm going to be very interested unless I don't get it. But they got to televise this game. That's going to be incredible. Spurs, Kings, Lakers, Blazers playing at the same time tonight. Holy smokes. And for those of you more interested at the top of the division, the Nuggets, not the Nuggets. The Nuggets play the Jazz tonight. The Mavericks play the Cavs. So, hey, the Cavs have good games every now and then. The Mavericks have stinkers every now and then. Because, let's see, although the Mavericks are 8-2 in their last 10. They won 2 in a row. So they are very, very hot. The Nuggets are 4 games behind the Jazz. But don't think for a second that they wouldn't like to beat them. Let's see. So, anyway, very exciting. Now, I wanted to take a moment to talk about the East. Let's talk about what's happening in the East. There's some interesting stuff going on here. So, the Wizards, one of the hottest teams in the NBA over the last month, they are in their last 10. You know, it's at one point here, only a week or two ago, they were 9-1. Now they're 7-3. They're still in the 10th spot. They are gaining. They're only half a game behind the Pacers in the 9th spot. Let's see. The Bulls are 3.5 behind the Wizards in the 11th spot. So, going to be really tough for them to get in, even though they're, mathematically, it's obviously still possible. But the Wizards and the Pacers, see, they are chasing the Hornets. The Hornets have a 1-game lead on the Pacers. The Hornets right now are in the 8th spot. The Heat in the 7th spot, they are 3 games ahead of the Hornets. And do you know who was tied with the Hornets? The Celtics. The Celtics are tied with the Heat in the 6th spot. So the 6th and 7th spots, the Celtics and the Heat are tied. And they lead the Hornets by 3 games. Now the Celtics and the Heat, are trailing the Hawks in the 5th spot by a game. So let's look over those teams. Let's see who is hottest in the last 10. The Heat are 7-3. The Celtics are 5-5. The Hawks are 5-5. The Hornets are 4-6. The Pacers are 5-5. The Wizards, once again, 7-3. Nobody has a streak going right now in the East until I go all the way up to the top, where the Sixers have won 6 in a row and they are leading the East. The Nets have lost 4 in a row. Whoo! Lost 4 in a row. Harden's not playing. It's incredible when you look at the difference in the Nets records when Harden's playing versus when he's not playing. Even if KD and Kyrie are both playing, I believe that when that is occurring with KD, they're 7-8. I think they're 18-2 when Harden plays. Anyway, it's Harden makes a huge difference, or appears to, at this point. Now they may be dealing with some different health issues, what have you, but holy cow. Look at the Bucks, third place. They are 3 games behind the Sixers. They've won 4 in a row. But I got to tell you, they're better than they were last year, but they basically still run the same offense. I think in the playoffs it's going to hurt them, but they are a better squad. They do have better outside shooting, but their offense still is run through Giannis, and there's a lot of standing around that occurs in that offense while the other players are waiting to see what Giannis is going to do with the ball. That's just me. They got a great coach. Same coach who coached the Atlanta Hawks a few years ago when they had no stars but really good ball players. And they shared the ball as well as the Warriors do now, and as well as the Warriors did then during their championship years. They just didn't have the stars that the Warriors had. But that made them a great team. But they got knocked out in the first round because they just didn't have a closer. And they didn't have multiple closers, let's be honest. But now with the Bucks, they're running everything through Giannis. But they've been doing that. And that's, in my personal opinion, that's why they're not as successful. Obviously, he needs to get his hands on the ball, but he's playing high post. He's facilitating, quote unquote, but he's not really facilitating. It's just he's trying to see if he can get his shot before he decides if he's going to pass to anybody else. So he's not setting anybody else up intentionally. That's a problem, and that will be a problem in the playoffs. You heard it here, maybe first. Or maybe 5th. I don't know. Anyway, so, as I mentioned, down below, Wizards, Pacers, Hornets, Heat, Celtics. Who is playing today in the East? The Celtics play the Bulls. That's going to be a tough game. I don't know if Jaylen Brown is back. Tatum's been going off lately. And Kemba just had a great game. They have so much talent on the Celtics from a wing guard perspective. They do have athleticism at the 5 spot. But for whatever reason, they seem to struggle. Like I said, they're playing 500 ball. And I think they should be better than that. And with Jaylen out, it's going to be tough. But Tatum's been carrying the team on his shoulders. And so we'll see what happens because the Bulls are not going to roll over tonight. That's for sure. Another big game. The Heat play the Timberwolves. Now, what did I say about the standings? Oh, yeah. The Heat and the Celtics are tied for that critical 6th spot. They both want it very badly. They want this game. What I say about the 8th spot, the Hornets. They play the Magic today. And then who else do we have in the East? Nobody today that will make a difference. But that is critical, that 8th spot, because the Hornets are just a game ahead of the 9th spot, which is the Pacers. And the Pacers are half a game ahead of the Wizards. So let's take a look at tomorrow. The Wizards play the Pacers. Again, the Wizards play the Pacers. So this sets up that who's going to rule that 9th spot. Is it that huge a deal? 9th, 10th? Only if you're concerned about who you play, or if possibly you can get to that 8th spot. So what happens to the Hornets tonight? Do the Hornets win, or do they lose? If they lose and the Pacers only half a game behind, and that means that the Wizards will only be a game behind, then going into tomorrow night, That makes the 8th spot obtainable for one of these teams. And you know that they want to get in there. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's the biggest game in the East tomorrow. Let's talk about the West tomorrow. So back to the West. Grizzlies and the Raptors. Raptors in the 11th spot. I believe 3.5, 4.5 behind the Wizards. But they still play tough ball. They're not going to give in to the Grizzlies. So that's going to be a tough game for the Grizzlies. Spurs and Trailblazers. Oh! Holy smokes. Spurs and the Trailblazers. Blazers need to win. Spurs desperately need to win. Desperately. Especially depending on what happens tonight. And, of course, don't forget about our team, the Warriors. The Thunder and the Warriors. Man, so many things are going to happen over the span of these next 2 days. And then with only a handful of games remaining to the end of the season, this is coming down to the wire. Very exciting stuff. That's going to do it for me today. I just want to go over all of that because I was looking at this stuff this morning. I was looking at it yesterday morning. I can't wait for these games to take place. Extremely exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I brought a little bit of information. Oh, yeah, one last thing. So there's been some talk about these traditionalists. The playing tournament. I don't like it. Wah. Nobody's old school as I am. Tradition. I respect and love tradition. But businesses, people, I've talked about this at the very beginning of my post, we have to evolve. And this has made the bottom, the 8th spot and the 7th spot, this has made it more exciting without a question. And why don't you just throw everybody in there? Really? Really? Is that your logic? Should we get rid of the wild card in the NFL? Should we get rid of the wild card in MLB? Some of you may think so. Yeah. It's damn exciting because of those wild card games. Everybody loves wild. You don't look forward to the NFL wild card weekend? Come on, we all do. This stuff's exciting. And let's not forget, Giants fans, for those of you who are against this play-in tournament for the NBA, Giant fans, remember, wasn't there a San Francisco Giants wild card team that won the World Series? Come on! And you correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I'm pretty damn sure I'm straight. I'm not even looking it up. I remember that well. Anyway. Evolve. Embrace. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Everybody continue to stay healthy out there. And thanks again, all 5 of you, for joining DUBS Playoff Watch. Take care.